YouTube, how's everybody doing today? I'm going to do another Magic Lantern episode today. I know you've been waiting for another menu to come along so we can delve into that. And we're going to be doing that today on the 6D, of course. And I wanted to mention that I'm going to be re-posting the original one where I loaded Magic Lantern on my 6D, because I've gotten a few comments that the music is in the background is too loud. And when I was editing it, on my laptop, I didn't notice it being too loud to my perception, but as I saw it and played it on different devices, I realized that the background music can fluctuate as far as being dominant in the video. So I'm going to repost the original one with some added features, and also I'm going to get rid of the background music so you can follow along with what I'm saying. So be looking for that in the next few days. But today we're going to do another menu on the camera here, and so let's delve on in and see what we can find. So I got my usual setup here. It's the iPhone on my tripod here, the Osmo tripod. Also got my 6D on a tripod here, so I'm not going to try to shake it as much as I can. It does have a little shake to it, but we'll try to keep it to a minimum so you can see and stay in focus on everything. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Get that sensor all cleaned up, and then we're just going to go right into the trash can. And the menu we're covering today is the preferences. And the first one on the top there is config files. And this is where you can choose your configuration preset. You can have it at startup mode with a startup key. You can have it auto save on or off. They're automatically saved when you do a shutdown. You can save the configuration now, or you can restore Magic Lantern to all its original defaults. So that's part of the config file presets that you can allow on the camera there. After the config files, we have image review settings. So go ahead and go into there, and you got your play mode actions, and that's helpful actions you can trigger in play mode. So if we go into there, it's set it off now, action type. You can do exposure fusion, you can do compare images, time-lapse play, and you can do exposure adjustment. I'm going to go up here just for now and do compare images, select that. And your trigger keys, you can do a set plus the main dial, you can do left and right, and you can do left and right plus and set and dial. So I'm going to leave it at the first one at set and dial. Back out of there and get out of Magic Lantern. And I got a few photos that I took previously. So if I go ahead and hit the set, you can see it says scroll wheel compare images. So if I do the top scroll wheel, you can see that it's comparing the two images that I took previously. Let me go back into that again. I'll show you. I got that one here. Just got a few that I set, and they're pretty much in that same area. So I'm going to hit the set button again, do the scroll wheel, and you can see it does a diagonal little look on it, and it compares those two photos together. So that would be that as far as image review settings on that play mode action where you're comparing images. I'm just going to turn that off for now, get back out of there. Then after that, you have the live view button, and default on that is obviously live view. You can also protect the image, and you can rate images. So I'm going to do rate images. Go ahead and back out of that and there. Go back into that, and if I hit the live view button up here, you can see it did a plus rating of 1, and I noticed that's all it's typically doing for me. It doesn't let me do, I'm still working on that as far as getting it to do other ratings. It's only doing a +1, so that may be a bug, or that may just be how I'm using it. So I'm going to be looking into that further. I don't want to erase right now. So let's go ahead and go back into that menu. Go back to live view. I'm going to set it back to default so it works as a default live view. And then after that is quick erase. That's set to off. Delete files quickly with the set plus erase, and it says be careful. So I haven't played around with that too much. I'm going to leave that at off, and we'll delve into that later on down the road. As we move on down, we have the live view zoom tweaks, and if we go into that, you can do a zoom times 5, you can do a zoom times 10, you can disable it or turn it on. You do auto exposure on zoom, on or off, increase the contrast, zoom on half shutter, zoom with the focus ring, and then you have a double click down here that you can do zoom or the shortcuts, and that's basically double click top right button when you're in live view mode. I was playing around with that earlier and I could not get that function to come up on me, so we're going to delve into that a little later. Obviously there's just so many things in these menus that you can play with. But let's go ahead and back out for now, and we'll go into focus box settings, and that's basically how the focus box moves on your live view screen. You can have it normal or you can have it fast. I'm going to set it for fast, and then it has snap points below that. You can do center, which is basically it's off. You can do center, top, and right, so I'm going to set it for that. And let me just back out of it temporarily, and we'll go into live view, and you can see the focus box does move a lot quicker, and if I do the set button, it moves center, top, and right. So those are those functions that are working for that live view mode as we do the focus box settings. So let me go ahead and set those back to normal, so that's not messing with anything else up. As we move on down from focus box settings, you have your arrow set shortcuts, and I was playing around with this one for several minutes, and I did not see any difference on how this function works, but I'll go over it with you real quick over here. With the arrow set shortcuts, you can do ISO and Kelvin changes, you can do shutter and aperture changes, LCD brightness and saturation, and also use the set button to turn this function on and off is how I perceived it. I played around with it, like I said, several minutes or more, and I did not see any changes on how this was functioning. So either it's not functioning properly at the moment, or I just don't know how to work it yet. So we're going to delve into that a little bit more. After that, you have the miscellaneous key settings. This one I did play with, and I was successful on doing that. As you can do the sticky key for depth of field preview. I'm going to turn that on, and you can also do it for a sticky key of the half shutter. And you can also swap your info and play button. So let me turn those both on, and we're going to go ahead and back out of this, and I'll go into live view. And as I go up to the info button, you see it switches over to my play button to do my previews of pictures I've already taken. And I'll turn that off. And if I hit the play button, it will run through the different informations for this screen that I have on live view. So this is mainly a function for the person that wants to be able to get to a certain screen quicker without having to either reach up here or reach down there. It's just a simple button swap of those two functions for info and also for play. And let me go ahead and focus on this one here. And the other one I did for the half sticky key was the depth of field preview, and that is on the front of the camera here, just under the lens. So if I go ahead and hit that, you can see that on the screen it shows depth of field preview button, and you also get the indicator on the side here with the LED light. So let me go ahead and turn that off, and that's basically the sticky key functions of those two for the miscellaneous key. So let me go ahead and turn those off so they're back to their defaults. And let's move on down to the warning for bad settings. You can have mode warning settings if you're in anything other than the M mode, manual mode, aperture mode, shutter mode, or program. it will give you a warning on the screen if you're in anything but those settings. So let me go ahead and get out of here. I'm currently in program mode, and you can see mode is not manual, so it gave me a little warning, and you're also getting a little flashing indicator down here for the LED that you're not in the mode that you want to be for those settings. So let me go ahead and turn that off temporarily. You can also have warnings for quality other than raw or other than fine. You can have an ALO warning, which is automatic lighting optimizer. That's inherent in the Canon cameras. That's typically run when you have your camera set on any of the creative modes or automatic modes. It automatically does the automatic lighting optimizing. You can have it for a white balance warning other than auto white balance. It will give you a warning for that. And autofocus and manual focus warning other than autofocus or other than manual focus. You can have that warning too. And then you have your selection of what kind of warning message you want to get. You can get the LED pop-up with a beep, LED pop-up with a repeating beep, and so on and so forth, pop-up beep, and so forth. So those are the warning settings that you can get for bad settings. Then you have your power save in live view. You can enable power saving on standby, recording, or standby and recording. You can have use a shortcut key for your info button to go into power save. You can dim the display after 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20, after up to 15 minutes. Let me go back the other way. Yeah, 15 minutes is your maximum display dimming that you can do. And then also you can turn off the LCD display after so many seconds or minutes, also 15 minutes for that one. And you can also turn off global draw, which helps save power on the CPU cycles that you're doing. And that is also seconds all the way up to 15 minutes on that too. Then we have your GPS power save. That's basic on and off. I have my GPS turned off on the camera currently, so it says there's nothing it can do at this moment. But that's just the option of turning your power save on and off for the GPS. Then you have your live view display presets. These give you 1 through 4 of presets for your live view display. I played with that a little bit. We'll delve into that a little bit later. I'm still working and playing around with that feature. Then you have your lens info preferences. You can either have the metric system or the imperial system, and that's just basically feet and inches or millimeters and centimeters. And then finally we have our customized menus where you turn it on and off. And as you can see, the menu turned orange, and as you scroll through here you can turn on features that you typically use, and it will give you a little green star at the top there, or next to it, to the left there. I'm going to turn on these 3 options, and if you noticed down here on the menu, this little orange star showed up once I turned it on, and it gives me these 3 options that I selected in the menus. These are just kind of like my menu shortcuts. Canon also has that feature. Let me go ahead and go out of that and go into their menu. As you can see, they also have a My Menu settings too. I found the one on Magic Lantern a little bit nicer to work with. If you go into this one, what it basically does is give you the options that you can set to register for your My Menu, and you just got to scroll through, and as you find things that you want, you can go ahead and click on it and say, okay, I want that in the menu. There's the auto light optimizing. Set that in, and if we go back to main menu, and you can see as we get back to my menu settings, these are the 2 options I set. Now it doesn't pull over the options I set in Magic Lantern, as you can see. As we go into that, I had global draw, zebra, and focus peak. And when you go back into the main menu on Canon for the My Menu, it only has the features that I selected before, but it does have the option of deleting all items that you have registered, which makes it quicker for that. obviously it doesn't delete the menu that you set up for your My Menu here, but on that option you can always go back up to your preferences, go down, turn it back on, and then you would have to deselect anything that you wanted taken off My Menu. Oops. And that is the end of our custom menu preferences. We'll turn that off. So there we go, we have the preferences menu. Like I said, I'm going to be going over it a little bit more as we get into real world situations where we're going to want to use these things. I'm going to be going out in the field. The last few menus are basically your modules, your debugging menu, the help menu, which pretty explanatory, press light menu, stuff like that. And then the modified menu, which we may or may not go over. It just basically tells you what was modified when you went into that system and what your current settings are when you do have that option on. So those are the menus. Basically, we're going to go and do some real-world situations with these new features that we found in the Magic Lantern menu, and hopefully you'll follow along and give me some suggestions on what we can try out and do. I hope you enjoyed the menu overview that I've done for Magic Lantern. Like I said, there's more to come, so don't despair on that. I'm going to have that previous one re-uploaded without the background music and some new enhancements on it, so those that have been complaining that you couldn't hear me exactly what was going on, I'm going to be changing that up and you'll be able to see what's going on a little bit better. But until then, I hope you have a great time, and let me know how you're doing with the Magic Lantern, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.